Now let's move on to this. Now this is something that's very, very, very interesting. Very interesting. Let me see. Yeah, I got it right here. So Jon B criticized for calling Gunna and Chloe ratchet. What happened, J Red? Jon B. Now you know he is the white sensation. You know they call him like Blue Eyed Soul. You know him, Robin Thicke. Give me somebody else. Who else is like a white singer? Like Tina Marie. You know those white people that sound black when they sing. Jon B. Jon B's made some great music, recorded with Tupac, but he was criticized for calling Gunna and Chloe ratchet. Now let's see what he had to say about Gunna and Chloe. Let me pull this up. Fair use, by the way. Listen to this.
R&B legend Jon B is back in the headlines once again, and this time he.
Hold on, y'all give me a second. Let me see if I can go just straight to the clip.
We're gonna do a deep dive of They Don't Know.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
yeah.
Fair use.
They Don't Know. I'm aware. I know Tim Kelly or Tim and Bob was a part of that one as well, right?
Oh yeah, they did the track. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It does get sampled every year.
Sure.
You know, by someone. Last year was Gunna and Chloe Bailey.
That's right.
They put that Ratchet record out that I couldn't stand.
Oh man.
And I wish they never did.
Man.
And actually never got my rights to do that record either. So we gotta holler about that.
Got some business to take care of.
That's some business shit we gotta handle.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what he said about the Chloe record. So they sampled They Don't Know. I never heard that song until I saw this thing, but he got backlash for that. Now, the reason that he got backlash for saying that is because he used the keyword ratchet. Now, a lot of the black community, or I ain't gonna say a lot of, but the black community felt a certain type of way about a white man in our culture using the word ratchet on other black people. So for my black folks that are in here right now, how did y'all feel about Jon B using the word ratchet? Now I get what he was saying in the sense of, okay, I don't like what they did with my song. I don't like what they did with my song. It's just when you use the word ratchet, just like the N-word, right? Now ratchet isn't the N-word, but we know what that insinuates when you say ratchet. You think of a sexy red, you think of a ghetto black person. So if a white person uses that word, do you get offended? Like, meaning like, hey, if you see a white hip-hop fan and they're just talking about some music that's out, and I say, do you like sexy red? They go, nah, she's too ratchet. Now if they say she's too dirty, she's too vulgar, she's too nasty, sexually explicit, hypersexual, that's one thing. But if a white person says, nah, man, she's too ratchet, how would you feel about that? How would you feel about that? You said They Don't Know as Jon B. I'm not mad about people. I'm not mad about it. People should care about how their stuff is used, and he shared why. So, yeah, I mean, this is two ways to look at it. I get why black people would be upset about him using that word, right? However, he is describing the music of what we call it. Now, ratchet isn't a derogatory term like the N-word, right? Because we'll call ourselves ratchet and all this other stuff. And ratchet is something we came up with. The N-word is something that was created by the oppressor. And we flipped it and made it a term of endearment. So that's different. But if somebody makes ratchet music, is it wrong for somebody of another race group to call it that? Because we label it. Like if I say I make gangster music, and if somebody be like, okay, J Red is a gangster, right? But gangster did come from like the mafia kind of thing. So I don't know. It's like I can see both sides of it on how people feel. You said, Maya, you said, is it not ratchet? Should he have phoned a friend to say it on his behalf? That's the thing. That's the thing. You said that song is a classic. Chloe and Gunna is far from that. So I get his frustration, but I did side-eye his ratchet remark. Okay, we getting somewhere. Correct. Ratchet is just an ignorant way to say wretched. So it's like I see both sides of it. Could he have used a different word? Yeah, because a lot of people say, okay, white boy, you're too comfortable. You're too comfortable saying that, because if it's something we call ourselves outside of like gangster, or like if a white person says, no, that's hood, it's just like, okay, well, what are you trying to insinuate? So I get people's sentiments on him saying that, but I also get what he was trying to say. But I think as a white person, he should have used another word. It's just it is what it is. Ratchet is definitely a subgenre of rap. I mean, it's speaking of subgenres, we're gonna get into that in a minute, but I get where he was coming from, but for the sake of discussion, I think he could have used something else. He used ratchet as if he was a black person talking, and I think that's what got people upset. I think that's what got people upset. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking like right now, if a white person just says, "Man, that ratchet music," I'm like, "You saying ratchet?" Now, if they say, "Man, I like that gangster stuff, that gangster-ish, whatever," I'm still gonna look at you, okay. But if a white person say they like gangster rap, I mean, gangster rap is gangster rap. Trap, if they say trap, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that bad? Because it'd be like, I like trap beats or rapping over trap beats or listening to trap beats. That's not bad. But ratchet, that is saying ghetto. And if a white person says something is ghetto, I'm like, y'all created the ghetto. Y'all created ghettos. Ghettos, originally, black people didn't live in ghettos. Ghettos were a test with the government to put people who didn't make a lot of money into one area, and they called those ghettos. So y'all created this. And if you're white by proxy, you're part of the system of white supremacy. So anything that we use to describe our poverty or our living conditions, our climate, ratchet just happens to be something that we use. But being a ratchet black person wouldn't be it if it wasn't for the system of white supremacy. You see what I'm saying? We wouldn't have that. That's a type of learned behavior from the oppressed system that we're in. Now, of course, just because I say black doesn't mean that it's ratchet, because you also have ratchet white people, but we would call them something else. They would probably call them hillbillies or something, but that's something we call it. And, you know, it is what it is with that. But you said this opens up a whole other conversation regarding the whole role of gatekeeping and what should be gatekept. Shout out to Jessica Sims. You said, I mean, it's his song, and he just simply stated he didn't like the remake. He didn't directly call them ratchet, just a remake. But I think it's just the way he used that word, though. The way he used that word. Zero, you said ghettos were in Europe. Check back. Yep, exactly. Imagine if this was Mariah Carey. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. But a white man who sings black music, or just a white man in general, saying, I can see both sides, y'all. That's what I'm saying. I can understand both talking points from it. And like I can agree with what Jessica's saying. We all put it like this: we all know what he's trying to say. He didn't like what they did with it. It didn't sound, they made it their sound instead of what he wanted the song to be. And obviously he didn't have full rights for it because he wouldn't have approved it, which I wonder if he got paid for it. But I get what he was trying to say, but I think that you got to tread lightly when it comes to our people, especially if you're singing our music. You know what I'm saying? And y'all know what I'm talking about, like that R&B soul type of stuff. So yeah.